Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Suzerain, our Let's Play series, returning to this, I would say, classic, one of the best 15 games, in my opinion, made in the last decade. Sort of choose-your-own-adventure slash RPG slash strategy game, where you are the ruler of a not technically post-revolutionary, but you're the ruler of a kingdom that has been, or a country that has been, through a number of tough challenges, and it's the 1950s, and it's a fictional world. Now, one thing I do want to get out of the way, because we played this on this channel before, I don't need to go through like all the intros of everything we're doing here. I am planning on being a little bit more left-leaning in this playthrough, because we've done right-leaning playthroughs. We may do a little bit of dictatorship, a little, you know, we'll see. But I also would say is the game is currently, they're working on a 3.1 update for Suzerain. My understanding is the vast majority, there's going to be some quality of life content that'll go into the base game, but my understanding is the vast majority of the content is for the Rizia DLC. So we may take a look at Rizia post 3.1. It's not compatible with the current save we have going on this series. This is like episode number 3. But I don't see any reason to stop our playthrough, because I looked at the content that's coming to Sordland, and most of it just looked like quality of life stuff. I didn't see a lot of, like, there's some graph changes or things. Didn't really see, you know, some typo changes. I didn't really see much in the way of, like, new story content or things like that. So, for what it's worth. I don't know if that means, I know I can't transfer the save over. I don't know if that means I can't transfer the, like, decisions over, though, to a Rizia playthrough. So we'll have to see. But anyway, that's enough of that. So we're still early days in this playthrough. We've had some increased tensions due to a terrorist attack which killed a left, I guess, a communist politician. Just immediately, you know, now you can see all these different reports are coming out about weapons being seized and unrest between different groups. And so those are things to consider. We also did make some, did we make a growth decision yet? About the, I'm trying to remember, it's been a little while since we played this, but did we make a growth decision about the actual investment for the mega project? I think we did. Well, we weren't going to do the highway. I think we're going to do, yeah, we're doing the high-speed rail, which I don't think I've done before. I always usually do the high-speed, the freeway to Axeland and up into Angolia, which is our previous ally, but they're more capitalist, and I think a public transit and infrastructure in the interior is going to be more relevant if we're turning toward the eastern countries as opposed to needing to support capitalism, because that roadway can be important in bolstering your trade relations with a capitalist country, but we're not going to be a purely capitalist country, so we'll see. Anyway, we've still got some government budget, no personal wealth to deal with here, so let's see what our options are here. So we've got a dinner with the family at home, a security briefing on threats against Sordland, and what's this? British Freedom Front stuff. Communist Party suspected of a bomb attack. Alright, let's do the dinner at home with the family. After a long day at the palace, I was finally home and thanked Serge and walked through the front gates, nodding at the 2 guards I went by. Even as I turned the doorknob, I could hear Deanna rushing down the stairs to greet me. I opened the door, and there she was, standing in front of me with expectant eyes. Papa, you're home! There's my beautiful princess. I lifted Deanna up and hugged her while trying to put the keys in the tray next to the entrance. Apparently I'm just like an ordinary working stiff. No one opens doors for me. Apparently I also come home. There's no, like, residence in the palace or something. Oh, man. She was growing fast. Lifting her was no longer as easy as it once was. Man, I know the feeling there. That was school. Boring. I like my old school better. Are the bad men gone? Yeah, your dad took care of everything. Come Monica appeared next to the kitchen door. No running in the house. Okay. We have a cook, you know. Okay. Zabla. Zabla was one of my hometown specialties. A chickpea stew topped with beef, braised in tomatoes and Bergen spices, traditionally served in a clay pot. It was absolutely my favorite dish, especially paired with kebji, a potent, unfiltered wine from my region. What's the occasion? No occasion, I just wanted to cheer everybody up a bit. Especially after what happened at the ball. I'm worried, Anton, for you, for the children, and for the country. I'm hungry. Where's Frank? He's been sulking in his room all day. Loud rock and roll music. We've got an emo son. I'll knock on the door. I'm respecting his privacy. Frank, turn down that racket and open the door. What do you want? I'm your father, and you will respond when I ask for you. Hand over those cigarettes and join your family for dinner. I'll go with the sarcastic response. Okay. Monica was the first to break the silence. Say, did you know they refurbished the grocery store? I don't know if you remember the owner. He's been there every day for the past 30 years. Can you imagine doing the same job for so long? What if you were president for 20 years? 20 years? Is she trying to see if I want to be a dictator? 20 years of this, I'd be dead. We could live like kings. I don't want this country to suffer under another soul. Anyway, the grocer's a really nice person. He threw in some extra vegetables with my... Frank? Nothing happened. We could have been killed. And yet we are all still alive. Fine, let's talk about it. Sit down. Do you think I would let us go down so easily? I don't particularly like the dialogue choices in this conversation because it doesn't really feel natural. Like, I guess the everything's under control part is kind of, don't worry, we're going to be fine, kind of brushes it off. But, like, there's no real, hey, let's talk about the risk of being a president and what we're going to do to make, like, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't feel like a natural conversation you would have with your kid in this scenario. I don't feel like there's anything I feel like are a great, great answer. It was one rogue shooter and we weren't even the target. We all have to trust each other. That's what worries me. I made plenty of rash decisions when I was his age. You made plenty of rash decisions now. All you need to worry about is putting more delicious dinner on our table. No. I'm not going the traditionalist route. If there was a threat to the family, I would let you know. I don't think I've been lying to them. No one's issued a threat against us yet. Alright, let's go to the security briefing here. Arrived at the front doors leading to the Situation Room. Today's security briefing was arranged in two parts, starting with an internal matter and moving on to external matters after a short break. Minister of the Interior, Leels Graf, and Minister of Justice of Law, Nina Morgan. Second part, the Minister of Defense would join with a few high-ranking officials, including the Chief of the Armed Forces. Okay. I don't think we've met the Armed Forces yet. Take your seats. Mr. President, ladies, we will kick off today's meeting with the internal security briefing. I'm assuming everybody here has already been over the agenda. We'll have busy schedules, so without further ado, I'll jump to our first topic. As we feared, the political atmosphere has worsened. The reports around the country indicate that tensions are rising as we feared. I've received news this morning that the investigation into the murder of him is concluded. Please enlighten us. After further investigations and testimonies, we've confirmed that the motive and events leading up to the shooting. After a few days prior, members of the Red Youth initiated a violent attack on a young Sword, local leader in Yen. We believe that the young Swords then called for revenge, leading to the death of Mr. Circus. Since he often spoke against the young Swords and national sentiment in the assembly, he was a big target, not to mention his radical communist views. He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame. Political violence needs to stop. Yes, we've been kept at bay for so long, but it seems there are new triggers. Okay. The investigation revealed that a very troubling fact, the funding source of the Red Youth is a clear link to United Kantana. Are you sure? United Kantana is sort of the communist faction within this world. A cash trail. Okay. I went over the report in detail. It would be wrong to jump to conclusions about a clear foreign interference yet. United Kantana has humanitarian and cultural ties with many countries, including Sordland. So Leels is obviously, she's more of a traditionalist, I get the vibe. Traditionalist of our party. She's not totally a soulless, who is sort of the quasi-dictator from previous, but she's definitely more conservative. So if she sees money coming in from a left-leaning organization, I think she's going to jump to conclusions more so than Leels or Nia, who are maybe a little bit less dogmatic on that. I don't want to jump to conclusions immediately. We don't want to create a crisis with them. Nearly 3 decades ago, they funded General Rickard, and they tried to establish a communist dictatorship in our country. If it was not for Colonel Sol, we would have seen the real crisis. Our police chief, Karl Gresner, has linked the funding channel to United Kantana, consulate in Benif. As we all know, the enemies of Sordland are many, but we also have threats inside the country. Our country has always had many issues, and this is part of our job. If we give up essential freedoms to purchase temporary security, we deserve neither freedom nor security. It's a riff on that, was it Benjamin Franklin quote you hear sometimes on social media? Let's not forget that President Sol, God bless him, brought stability after a long period of bloodshed and chaos. Our highest internal threat comes from the estimated 20,000-strong Blutish Freedom Front, which is sort of a immigrant religious group that also is kind of quasi-terrorist, I believe. Okay. Are they supported by our Blutish citizens? To some extent. Luckily, they couldn't attract a wide audience of Bluids, but they could potentially attract thousands of anti-Blutish sentiment spreads. Sordland again. Our intelligence intercepted 2 crates filled with weapons close to the Rumburg border. They were filled with military-grade Ka-74s. We expect more have been smuggled in. A group of Bluids were caught with these guns at a checkpoint. Yeah, but Rumburg is not to be trifled with, and they're also another problem. They could easily just be smuggling weapons in on a fucking lark to try and destabilize us. We need to take a level head with Rumburg. They're looking for reasons to take action. They'll play dirty while we play nice. It's a battle we'll lose. Governor Braun is causing the tensions to increase with his increasingly anti-Blutish stance. His methods can be extreme, but it was his policies that kept the region peaceful over the last decade. He is misusing the powers given to him by Tarquin Sol. The insane authority of the governor is surely a root cause. It would be very difficult to revoke the special status of Bergia under the current circumstances. The president no longer have the authority Tarquin Sol enjoyed. For now, yes, but with enough justification it would be possible. Anyway, we'll be discussing that at a later time. Tell me more. Tell me more. Expand. Bergia was given a special status by Tarquin Sol after the full-scale uprising of the BFF against the Swedish government in 35. It's, what, 50, I think, now? The couple of years were disastrous for Bergia, Dwellian, Arge, and the BFF declared war on us, openly attacked our people, and occupied our entire cities. It was a massive uprising, but I'd like to point out the longest time they were in control of a city was 2 weeks. I wouldn't call that an occupation. Despite the arrest of Dwellian Arg in 44, the BFF ceased its activities. The special status of the region were never revoked. Today, the special zone of Bergia gives the governor insane amounts of authority. He was in trouble with the law before for not following the central government's authority. Unfortunately, Bergia also has its own police forces directly commanded by Governor Braun. They're not part of my ministry and only cooperate when they are forced to. Even though our forces have the authority to serve in Bergia, the special zone leaves the security of Bergia mostly in the hands of the governor. We must reverse this situation. It is absurd that the Ministry of the Interior doesn't have full control over Bergia's security. What's the second most important threat? It's gang violence that's threatening the Nargas and the Agslan region. Two prominent organized crime families are at war, and the potential for bloodshed is real. Why can't we just arrest them? What crime families? One is known as the Coriali, and the other is the Skinner Cartel. They used to be allies until a recent disagreement. Both are active in the cities of Narbel and Estord. Trust you can handle them. Doing my best, sir. I shall be honest with you. With our current capabilities, we may not be able to prevent further arming of separatists while maintaining order in Bergia, Nargas, and Agsland. Okay. I mean, if I did promise to increase our security and law enforcement budgets, we will keep those promises. Stop using the word thugs. Corruption is the root of all evil, after all. Oh, these two don't like each other. Thank you for the overview. And now here come the generals. Joseph and General Kruger. Hopefully Kruger doesn't send a telegram. Joseph, welcome. I brought General Kruger with me due to the escalation on our borders. General Kruger stepped forward and saluted. He had a strong jaw with sharp cheekbones. His tall stature, uniform, and medals combined with his deep and intense stare made him look threatening. He was in his 70s and had a bulky body that was the result of his commando training. Not only was he the second most decorated officer in Sordland, he was also the longest serving. I guess I'll salute him. He seemed uneasy with the presence of another high-ranking officer in the room. Joseph and Valken. I think Valken is the villain. I mean, they both can be villains if they don't like you, but I think Valken is the more directly ambitious, and Joseph... I think we served with Joseph when we were in the military. Okay. Rumberg has been acting increasingly expansionist in the past decade and also interfering in Agnolia, but now they've turned their sights on us. This concerns me very much. We're observing these areas actively. Our contingency plans are ready. It seems like they want to increase pressure both externally and internally. Please, General. The picture is becoming clearer. The latest information from the interior about weapons caches, and now there is an active military buildup close to our borders. The entire situation was analyzed by our General Staff, and our prediction is future territorial incursions by Rumberg. I have trust in the General Staff. We will not let you down, Mr. President. The General Staff is composed of the smartest military individuals. I require an increase in the military budget to enlist more soldiers. Only then can we stand strong against our enemies. The enlarged armed forces will hold them at bay. Valken is right. We do need an increase in the military budget, although we don't see eye to eye on exactly how to spend the budget. That much we agree on. Okay. War is coming. We must be prepared. During the election, you said nothing about focusing on our military. I ask you to reconsider and to increase the military budget. As you said, times change, Joseph. We will see. I'm not going to promise him that we will spend more, but I will not shut the door on that either. Who said we're decreasing our budget, Valken? I never said that. I don't want to become a pawn of the superpowers, but I did say I was going to look to be more leftist, so these options could be considered. Mr. President, there's been a Rumbergian military activity close to the Narbal border. I just spoke with the local commander. You just told me we can't beat them, and now you want me to raise our alert level? Make sure they know we're observant and ready. Hail Sordland! Hail! Okay. I don't know what I just did. Like, I mean, I guess they're gonna probably escalate things now that I just told them to make sure that we're ready. Rumberg has closed their consulate in Lockhaven. Okay, well, immediately we've got a problem here. Rumberg is a kingdom, I believe, with a queen. Up here, they're much more powerful than we are. What do we got in news? Protests across Sordland after the death of Bernard's Circus. We already knew that. Rumors of an infrastructure project. Yeah, we already said we were going to do that. Bernard's Circus protests. Underhall construction once again, number 1. Okay. What are they again? Are they the... oligarch group? Planned economy. Gang violence, political chaos. Hamburg closes their consulate. Okay. Any updates here? Situation, nationwide revolt. What? Widespread violent protest. Yeah, well, that's because of the dude being killed. Domestic diplomatic pressure from Rumburg. Okay. End of day at the Maroon Palace and react to the unrest. A decision to address the instability of the nation. The political situation around the country has escalated. Chief strategist Lucien Galad has prepared several action plans that we can execute. What will you do? Call for restraint? Visit the affected towns in person? Label all protesters as traitors? Expand police by deploying all recruits in training? I don't know that calling for restraint on national television will accomplish anything. So, expand the police by deploying all recruits in training. That seems dicey. That feels like we're going to get a Kent state. But I don't think calling the protesters traitors or visiting towns is going to accomplish anything. So, expand the police. That may lead to other problems, but... Situation updated. Inexperienced police recruits. That's probably not a good thing. It's not, that's why it's red. But we do have enlarged police force, which is good. Okay. I'm surprised it didn't cost me a budget, but we need to try and stabilize things. If we're going to try and fix our economy, we need a stable economy. Okay. I'm adding fuel to the fire. Alright, Maroon Palace. It was late in the evening. The Maroon Palace was finally getting somewhat quiet when I returned to my office. I eagerly approached my chair and sprawled out on it. It had been an exhausting day, just like every day since I took office. Pour some whiskey. Felt like the best salve after a long day of work. I glanced downwards out the window and saw Serge and the guards waiting for me at the main gate. Heard a couple of knocks on the door from my secretary, Livia Suno. Mr. President, Mr. Tusk is here to see you. You had a meeting with the Lothburg spokesman. I'm so sorry for not giving you proper notice. Don't worry about it. I'd never met Sordland's most prominent businessman. I'd met Sordland's most prominent businessman once or twice, but never alone. He had large jowls, blindingly shiny shoes, and the air of someone who was used to getting his way. Cognac. Okay. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm here to congratulate you. My business partners and I wish you a successful term as the leader of our nation. Thank you, Mr. Tusk. I had no chance to say this at the ball with all the panic, but we are very much looking forward to working with you. Sure, likewise. I'd like to build a profitable relationship between us. That being said, there's some concerns of mine and the people that I represent, which I'd like to take the opportunity to clear up. What are your concerns? The ruined state of the economy in Sordland has influenced everyone. The recession hit all of us hard. I had these brought from Lespia, the best cigars in the whole continent. Would you like to try one? You go ahead. I don't want to smoke. Walter grabbed himself a cigar and look, I don't want to, put myself in his debt. But I don't care if he smokes in my office. I don't want to piss him off yet. I heard you purchased stock in the Armadine Industries in Arcasia. Smart buy. They're developing new gadgets that are going to be profitable. With risk comes reward. I expect a very good return on the investment. You have a keen eye for business. I'll buy a couple thousand shares too to expand my portfolio. Hope the investments pay off for both of us. The assassination and troubles between the left and right are worrying, but the recession is the root cause of these issues. For us, it's worrying to see that you've decided to promote a planned economy. I don't mind that we disagree on the economy. The recession was triggered by the market reforms of Alfonso, which he couldn't finish due to being heavily obstructed by the establishment. Economics need long-term strategy and mid-term adjustments to provide growth and stability. My father once said you have to finish what you start. He's right. The system collapsed because Alfonso didn't finish the reforms. He started, and then look what happened to him. The high-speed rail investment was a great decision. The business logistics will improve and boost the economy once finished. The intention of the administration is to boost the economy. The right intention for sure. We can be close allies. The group can help you get Sordland out of the recession, which will be the key problem to solve in your term, and you could even determine your re-election. Let's start with a gesture of goodwill. Soon the investment project contract will be awarded to one of the 3 main contenders. My personal bank details were listed on it with a deposit of 500,000 Sordish Ren, ready to be transferred. This was 6 months of presidential salary. If the contract were somehow awarded to Underhill Construction, they would not only work hard and deliver, but also do it on time. What do you think, Mr. Rayne? Wouldn't that be good? All right. Should I take? I've never taken a bribe in this. I'm guessing it would not be good, especially since my secretary possibly saw that he was trying to bribe me. Ask for more money. Did you just try to bribe the President of Sordland? I refuse. I don't want to just call him out on the bribe immediately. I'll just say I'll make my own decisions. Thank you for the visit nonetheless. It was good to share opinions. We will meet again in the future for sure. Oh, I almost forgot. Please say hello to Mr. Koronti for me. Have a good evening, Mr. President. Well, I just got bribed. I wonder how much money that would be if I'd gotten it. Of course I didn't. How could you even ask me that? I'm not that kind of president, Livia Suno. Not that it's any of your business. Economic relief plan, an act to ease the economic hardship felt in the country. Do we give money to the people or the businesses? Now, usually when you give money to the people, it actually increases the velocity of the money, because what will happen is you give the money to the people will spend the money will end up back in the pockets of the business, which then gets reinvested. If you give money to businesses, they can use that money to invest in new production and new technology and things like that. But sometimes the businesses choose to pocket the money and boost their shareholders, through stock buybacks or whatever. I'm generally of the opinion providing money directly to people is a more effective route, because the money typically gets spent twice as opposed to once. I don't know that either of these are strictly speaking our leftist approach, but I guess the more leftist would be giving money to the people in need. Of course, if you don't give money to the businesses and they go out of business, then what money are you going to be having the people spend on? What are they going to buy it from if everyone's out of business? But let's just give it to the people and see what happens. We did see our budget drop by 2 from 7 to 5. You do need to be careful with that. You don't want to spend too much. Okay. You don't want to end up bankrupt or anything. Foreign Gascom engineers' salaries under scrutiny. Keebner suggests expanding executive powers. Unemployment and checks. The administration has fallen for populism. The idea that giving people money will solve problems of the economy overall, it is hard to grasp where these ideas come from. Pretty obvious. I suppose if you assume they're just going to pay it on their rents, then maybe that's not increasing the velocity of money. I don't know. But if the businesses need the money to be propped up, you're not getting anyone any more money to spend on the businesses. So, plus, you know, you give money to the people, and those are the people who vote for you. Obviously, the radical, which is the leftist group, certainly is happy with our decision. Stimulus checks distributed. The government provisions of stimulus checks to citizens in need has been a crucial lifeline for many struggling families. So that's a positive driver in the economy. Right. Local police working with nationalists. That doesn't sound good. We don't want corrupt police officers. Alright, tension with Rumberg. Rise of Golcondianism in rural areas, so religious fanaticism. Workers' rights, CSP. First ICBM is developed by Arcasia, which is the US sort of stand-in this game. Nobody's like fully one country or the other, but they're sort of the closest. Horton criticizes trade between our countries and them. Apparently we have a net trade surplus with them. Listen, we can always just not trade with you. We can go full leftist. I'm sure we'd get more from Vagsland. Okay. Alright, so we have two more things to do here. Finalize the L1 railway contract, and then the meeting with Conradi. Presidential state car, road to Conrad. This is the other oligarch we're going to meet with. Where are we, Serge? We're nearing the Haas Country Club, Mr. President. We'll be there shortly. Okay. My Vice President, Peter Vector. I can't think of comfort when our country is descending into chaos. Don't be such a tryhard, dude. It's like Buzz Killington or Russell Wilson over here. Dangerous. He's probably going to try and bribe me now, huh? Such a pleasure to meet you. May he rest in peace. He was a true entrepreneur. I heard about your meteoric rise in Haas. I'm flattered. You're truly going to be the best president this country has seen. Really? Okay. Politics is a ladder. The higher you climb, the more chaos around you. The past months have been tumultuous to say the least. I'm glad you and your family were unharmed at the shooting. The whole incident must have been a shock for the kids. They aren't used to what we lived through back in the late 20s. I still remember when our father took us out of the country when it became too dangerous in Conrad. They were startled, but the important thing is they're safe and sound. Well, I'm known to be a straightforward person, so let me get to the point without wasting your valuable time. It was during Alfonso's campaign when I was struck by what you had done with the party. You're straightforward, and maybe you should get to the point. Look at the painting. The famous piece depicted a giant sleeping beneath a village. The trees, rivers, and hills were all part of the giant's body. Its eyes were two caves looking up at the people. Okay. You said we will transform this nation, Mr. Rayne. My conglomerate has a way of doing things, and I don't want them to change. So I want to cooperate with you. Okay. What do you mean by that? You might have the people's support now, Mr. President, but what happens when you make mistakes? Everybody makes mistakes. Let's just hear what he's trying to say. He commands the media, so he's trying to give us deep state media control, I'm guessing. He's also probably threatening us. You know, if we don't work with him, then he can use his media to destroy us. Assume that articles would actually protect your integrity no matter what. Try to imagine how 5 million people I reach will not lose faith in you. What do you want in return? I want two things, Mr. President. Number one is I want a guarantee from the Rayne administration that you won't meddle in our affairs. Number two is simple gentleman's favor. For the future, let me provide my services to you first, and I'm sure you won't disapprove when the time comes. That's an interesting proposal. I have to reject. I'm not going to take your bribe. Not quite the same, here's a bunch of money bribe, but I don't want to owe you favors. Goodbye, Mr. Koronti. You pushed it too far. Okay. Now we gotta pick a L1 railway contract. Who's gonna do the work? Okay. I'll treat you to the 30-year-old Elroy Maroon if they make solid profits. Okay. Trust your plans, Simone. What kind of results do we expect? Short-term employment and long-term economic development in the Gesland and Greater Holsort region. Okay. Alright, there's 3 companies that are bidding for this railway contract. The Sordland State Corporation, Underhill Construction, and Taurus Holdings. Underhill is who was trying to bribe us. The respected Sordland State Corporation, also known as the SSC, was founded in 1891. It's the main state corporation tasked with running the day-to-day construction services of our country. Primary reason why our current infrastructure is outdated, we need a more adaptive construction companies. However, this would fulfill your initial election promise of using state-dominant planned economy to improve our bleak recession situation. They have experience, knowledge, and manpower for a project of this size. I'm not sure about their efficiency, though. There's also the fact that the construction times are long, which mostly is due to their outdated methods. Their experience is beneficial, though. Okay. I like the SSC, but want to hear about the others. Underhill. Real estate and construction giant was founded in 1925, expanded during the 30s. Okay. Alright, so you like him, Gus. Long and hard and fast to accomplish their contracts. They'll get it done, and if we give it to them. Okay. They always deliver on time. Working conditions are a concern, though. Huh, so they brought in foreign workers who labor laws didn't apply to? I don't know about that one. Not sure about them. What about Taurus Holding? Founded in 1946, so they're a very young company by Geralt Foss, new holding company whose subsidiaries use cutting-edge technology from Arcasia, the capitalist, to reduce construction costs and prices. They're known to provide for the workers who are part of the labor union of Sordland. I don't think they're suitable for a large project like this. They haven't worked on a mega project. Okay. I agree. We shouldn't put our first project at risk with them. Restructuring the highway intersection of one of the major cities. That's their... Oh my god. They're like a mom and pop shop. Okay. I don't feel confident about them. SSC, I think, is the only... Underhill's a -2 budget? Really? No, SSC. At least we're fulfilling our promises. Even if it ends up resulting in things going a little bit slower. I think we're off to a good start. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Kezaro Kibner demands an emergency to be called. Why? Political violence. The funeral of Bernard Circus. Okay. All right. Now, we've been going for almost 50 minutes, so I'm actually going to wrap this up here. The funeral's kind of an important event in the game, so we'll take a look at that in our next video. But until then, this is the Historical Gamer saying we are playing Suzerain, our sort of leftist, maybe a little bit more aggressive, but I've been pretty soft so far. Playthrough of this game, my first where I haven't been a centrist or a right-wing dictator. The right-wing dictator ended up with me in prison, but we'll see how this one plays out. Until next time, however, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.